Yeah. So is Travis from the Hangout Sessions. I'm here with Andrew from Two Goons, One Spud, Spurs fan, and he's definitely gonna be happy today. Spurs won 4-1 against Man City. What do you think, Andrew?
I think it was a brilliant game. I think I said last week when we beat Palace, I said that was our best performance of the season. Obviously, this was better performance. Honestly, I think everything went right for us today. We took our chances. We were
Mm.
more clinical than I've seen us for a long time. I think this it was yeah, I think we took all our chances, and I think City. I think they had a little bit of an off day because you've watched them like other times this season. Even when they lost against West Ham, like they had their most shots on goal, they had their most shots on target, the highest possession. You could tell today was a little bit of an off day for them.
A little bit, but you need that kind of luck in the season, really. Like, and it's not even luck
Definitely,
because you played well in the end, but you did get the rub of the green at some points in the game.
yeah, definitely
But
because obviously there was like the offside decisions and that, and given like I mean for 70% of the teams in the league, you're going to need City to have a bit of an off day to have a chance of beating
mm,
them.
I thought they, no one really started like it was pretty even game up until Man City scored. Like I thought that was a pretty good goal. They attacked very quick, and then they nearly doubled like moments later. And then I felt that they were on top for the first. When did Spurs get their first goal? Was it in the second? Was it 1-0 at halftime?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
it was 1-1. We scored at the
Was
end
it
of the
one?
first
Oh,
half.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That was a crucial time to score because obviously,
Mm,
half time really changed everything.
definitely. I think
Um,
was it that was Dyer's strike, the daisy cutter into the bottom corner, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first. I don't know what the linesman was doing there, but like I said, you do need the rub of the green, and
What for like the Carl Walker being offside?
yeah, that was ridiculous because he was right in front of him. I don't
No,
understand.
it was to be honest, yeah, it was hard. But the thing is, he's got to look at Carl Walker's in his line, but the pass or the whatever the shot was before wasn't in his line. Carl Walker's running as fast as he can across the offside line. To be honest, I think it was a difficult one to call. Obviously, he got it wrong, and that
I
was
don't
the
know.
luck that we got.
I don't know because instantly I felt it looked like it just felt wrong. Like it felt wrong. Like you don't see that happen and it just carry on. So it was a bit
To
weird.
be honest, the Harry Kane one for me felt even more wrong. And
Yeah,
like, to be honest, I'm absolutely delighted that he's got a goal this season because
yeah,
it gets the
definitely.
mark.
He
But
needed
I
it.
want to
He
make a
needed it.
point that listen, I've been calling him for it to be dropped for a long time, yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, today, who knows? Yeah, sometimes strikers they need that goal.
yeah.
Once they get it, they go on a run. But honestly, I mean, look, I was watching the game with Courtney today. I said to him, listen, like he nearly missed for real.
This sounds so cliche, and I think someone mentioned it earlier. But seriously, when you're going on a long run of not scoring, sometimes that kind of chance is the worst one to get. Do you know what I mean?
I
Because
mean, to
it
be
wasn't
honest,
it that there was nothing instinctive about that. He had all the time in the world to just put it in
yeah.
the back of the net. Like
For
that's
him,
fast. Like
like it doesn't matter what goal it was, he just needed a goal. Yeah, he's got
yeah,
it. But the
confident.
reality is that that was an easy chance, and he did
Mm.
nearly miss it.
He
That's
looks.
the truth.
He
And
look.
when you
Yeah,
watch the
yeah,
game, he, the game, it was a hard game for him.
yeah.
Like he wasn't. Would you
I,
say like Harry Kane played really well today?
not really, but he never he didn't hide. That's one thing about him today. He didn't hide. He got in a
Nah,
position.
fair play to him, yeah. Especially for a young player, when it's not going well for him or whatever, he always tries to get involved.
Yeah,
But I always just question the quality, whether he's really good enough. Because especially when you look like we've got players like Son, he's come in, he's made an immediate impact. I think NG, he's pacey, and I would like to see him be given a chance. I want to say again, Lamella today was
oh,
brilliant.
definitely,
And I'm not
definitely.
just saying that because he got man of the match, but there was this like he looked confident. He's never looked, and he looked stronger as well.
I'd admit
Like on the ball,
when I saw him starting, I was a bit like, wait, where's Chadley? Because I feel like Chadley's one of them players that's like a lot more effective than he's given credit for. So when I
the thing
saw
is,
him,
I like Chadley and I like
mm,
Lamelo. I would have wanted both of them to play. To be honest, if I don't know if you read like the little preview blog I did before, but what I wanted to do was to have Ericsson holding the midfield with Dele Alli,
Yeah,
who I also want to say he looks a promising player, Dele Alli. Honestly, when we signed him, I really, really wasn't sure. I thought, what are we doing?
yeah.
But he looks promising. And I wanted him to hold the midfield of Ericsson and to play a midfield attacking three of Lamella, Chadley,
Son.
Son. Yeah,
Yeah, I see the vision. I don't know. Would I? I like Ericsson's one of my favorite players. It's funny. He's one of my favorite players, like in the Premier League, and I like him in that. I like him in the middle. So I
I
don't
like.
know.
Yeah, the
It
thing
would
is,
be
I'd only,
interesting to see how he would play in there.
to be honest, I would never. I would only put him there just because of injuries elsewhere. Like we don't
Yeah.
have Dembele, and if it wasn't Man City, I'd like, given the midfield options we have, I'd like us to play a 4-4-2 diamond and
Mm.
play Son and NG up front. I think that could cause damage. Honestly, I have no qualms about saying Harry Kane should be benched. And that's how I'd like to do it, with Ericsson in the hole, Dembele holding, and two up front. But just because it was Man City, I wouldn't have played that open. That's
Mm.
why having two holding midfielders, I would have pushed Ericsson back.
You looked.
But
I was
yeah,
gonna say you
I mean,
looked.
to be honest, it just worked today. Everything, it
Yeah.
just worked.
And you grew in confidence as the game went on. Like it just got better. There was a point at, I think it was at 3-1 when I was looking at it thinking, do you know what? Normally, okay, when you play against a better team, you're kind of thinking, all right, we got a 2-goal lead. Now we need to kind of defend. You naturally start to drop off, but Spurs kept going forward. And I was thinking, if anyone's more likely to score, then surely it's going to be Spurs getting the fourth. And
Thing is,
it
we were
came.
just really clinical. It was like
Mm,
the chances that if you think about the game, watching it back, you can't think of many chances that we had that we didn't actually score.
mm, just
Like when we went forward and looked and like actually got the ball in the box, like we scored. I think Dele Alli, like the energy he brings, and he has a composure on the ball. He actually reminds me. He actually plays a lot like Dembele.
Yeah, I'm so glad you didn't. I heard a Spurs fan say he plays a lot like Zidane in a week. Seriously, seriously, I heard him say that. I thought you were
Well,
gonna say something like
I wouldn't say that just yet.
that. Yeah. Um.
But yeah, and then
Yeah.
Eric Dier.
He was good
I
today. I
mean,
thought he looked solid.
honestly,
What do you think of him in the midfield?
I hate it.
You're not the only Spurs fan that I've heard say that.
Yeah, well, there's quite a big divide about it. I was
Yeah.
having a little Twitter row with someone today. I would like to give him a shout out, but I can't remember his Twitter.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? Let me check what his Twitter is. I'll give him a shout out. Maybe he
Yeah.
might hear the blog. He'll get a little shout.
So I'm guessing this
But
guy was. I'm guessing this guy was backing Dia in the midfield.
yeah, so shout out to Cruise Control at A_JTHFC.
Yeah.
And he was back in Dia. He was basically saying, I mean, I was saying to him, look, I said, what does Dia bring? He said he's strong and he breaks up the play. I said, well, maybe, but a lot of big guys you could put in a midfield will do that, and that's kind of all right, but it's not really good enough when you're towards the top end of the table.
Mm.
You need to contribute, like going forward as well. You need to be able to distribute the ball well. You need to be able to have some sort of control of the midfield. I simply see him as a guy who wins. One of the biggest things he does, he's strong and he wins balls in the air because he's tall. See,
Mm.
like goal kicks and all that sort of 50-50. He'll win headers. That's great, yeah. But when it comes to actually getting on the ball, he's a sideways passer, backwards 5-10 yards, sideways. I mean, I'm not saying he never passes forward, but in terms of that defensive midfield position, you've got to really be box to box.
I know what you mean. Sometimes it is just good to have that layer of protection there, especially in a especially in a game against a team like Man City. But
You're right, but
mm,
to have two doing that job is too much protection, because really then you've only got four players in front of you.
mm,
And a lot of the time, what I see when I watch Spurs is it's a big problem that you see Pochettino loves to do that forward pressing with the
yeah,
front, with the first striker and the three behind. Sometimes we do it, and sometimes it can look good. But what we don't do is the two holding midfielders behind, they don't push up with the rest of the team. And what it creates is a big gap between the front line and the midfield. So all it takes is the defending team to just lob the ball over into that midfield, and you've got players in between that gap. It's way too much space. They have time to pass, move forward. Your whole front line is taking out the game. You've lost your front line of defence.
Mm,
And we and you know just because I mean look at Dia, he is a defender, so
definitely.
he doesn't. I can't expect him to know that position like really well at the moment.
As I'm gonna say, to win in that fashion today, I reckon that gets a lot of the week's pain and the negativity out the camp. I think is a really good step forward going into
Definitely,
the
it
next
was the
game.
perfect remedy for losing the derby,
Definitely,
and I think,
it's not even just the win; it's the way you won as
but I
well.
would be cautious about it because I wouldn't say, I was thinking about the game. I was thinking, were you to play that game 10 times,
Mm,
we could have won that game today and then still lose the next nine.
mm,
And I think I wouldn't look forward and say, okay, Spurs are able to do that consistently. I do see it as slightly a little bit of a one-off because City had an off day, and pretty much everything we did went just every shot it just went in. Well, we got Swansea next weekend after Europa League.
yeah,
Bad defeat for Swansea today. Swansea, it is a big game because Swansea are in that group of teams with Southampton, Everton trying to break into seventh, push for that Europa League spot.
yeah.
And we need to keep the momentum. I think the main positives today. I hope Lamela gets a good run in the team because that's what he needs. Because obviously he's been here for like over 2 years now, but he's never had a run in the team, which is exactly what he needs.
So I definitely agree with what you said about Swansea. That is a big game because at the end of
It
the day,
is.
you lot all have maybe not so much. You have similar targets, and then again, you got Liverpool the week after that. Again, like
Exactly.
I feel like Spurs should be competing with Liverpool to break into the
Oh,
Champions League.
at least. If
So
not, that's just
you,
that's the
well, you
least.
finished above them last season, so
No,
really,
yeah, we did, and that fifth. It was good, but when you look at it, Liverpool were above us for the majority of the season.
yeah,
Liverpool slipped at the end, and what you need to appreciate is that Europa League sort of position there. When it's teams like Liverpool and Spurs, we had Liverpool and Spurs were pretty much going to finish fifth or sixth for a while. We were both chasing Champions League, which was off from like 5, 6 games before the end of the season anyway. So that sort of tailback from Liverpool, I mean, it's kind of excused because listen, the difference between finishing fifth and sixth, like who cares? If you're not going to
yeah,
get fourth place, then you know what I mean. You're coasting.
it's, it's true what you said. It's similar to what Courtney said the other night when he said Liverpool did have a dramatic drop off towards the end.
Yeah,
So
and listen, because one of the good, like we did a little hot seat that I was in this week. I don't know if you read it,
yeah,
and basically the way it works is we just have like quick fire questions that fire off, and one of the questions I got asked, which was interesting, it was that last season statistically was a good season for Spurs. Final of the Carling Cup, whatever it's called, and fifth place. At the start of the season, I would have definitely taken that. That's good, yeah. But when you look at it in detail, if you look at it, really, it was a struggle all along. We struggled we got knocked out of the FA Cup by Leicester at home. We struggled against Burnley over 2 legs, Newcastle over 2 legs. That's all before getting. Newcastle was the best team we played in that Carling Cup run till
yeah,
Chelsea in the final. Yeah, so that's a very favourable run.
mm,
Final, we were never even in it. Premier League home form, absolutely shocking. You had defeats to Newcastle, Aston Villa, West Brom, West Ham, Stoke. You know what I mean? That's already 15 points at home, which every Tottenham fan should be taking at the start. That's 15 points that puts us in fourth.
yeah. He's
So
comfortably in fourth, really.
exactly. So when you look at it, yeah, I mean, I know some Spurs fans out there are going to be like, oh, we beat Arsenal last season, we beat Chelsea, but those are not the games that get you in the top four.
Mm,
Those that if you just beat the teams below that you're expected to, I mean,
yeah.
especially at home, then that's where you start from.
I think it's all about getting their mistakes out. I know Pochettino works hard on the fitness to make sure that kind of thing doesn't really
That's one
work
of the
out.
best things he does.
Yeah, because you got a few late goals last season.
To be honest, yeah, maybe it was to do with the fitness, but I didn't like that because those late goals were just like we shouldn't need late goals to beat teams like Leicester or to get points against teams, mid-table teams. There's tons of examples of that last season, and we should be, winning these games without a struggle. But the problem is that we didn't have a lot of goal scorers in the team. We weren't like a high goal scoring team last season. So, you're going into every single game thinking you need to score two to win this. And we rarely scored over 2 goals last season.
Was...
I'm genuinely quite surprised when we score more than two most games.
Like for
Honestly.
today, for example,
Exactly.
that must have been,
Today, I mean, look, before the game, I predicted 3-1 to Man City.
yeah, fair.
So, obviously that's maximum surprise for me.
I genuinely didn't
Uh,
know what to expect today because I was looking at last week's Man City result, thinking, hmm, like there could be something there, especially Man City playing away from home. There could be something
maybe,
there, and you needed a response today in front of the home
true.
crowd.
But I did think that, watching the game back from last weekend, the Man City West Ham, Man City actually played well. Like,
Hmm. It was just
obviously, they had the
unfortunate.
season. Yeah, it was a little bit like that. It was a season high of shots on goal, chances created, possession, all that. So, they didn't really play badly. It's just didn't manage to get the goals. Um, Aguero, I'm not sure if he's fit. I don't really want to give him too many excuses. But I mean, yeah. Again today, I looked at the City's lineup and I did think without Hart. I mean, everyone knows City's main players. City's main players straight through the spine. Hart,
Yeah,
Company, Torre, Aguero. Yeah,
who went off injured as well, Torre.
exactly. So 2 out of 4 of them out the lineup at the start. A new back four partnership in Hart. That's exactly what we did. Obviously, they had no Silva as well.
Yeah,
Silva is the player for them.
yeah, definitely. He makes them tick.
Exactly.
So that's three Premier League wins on the trot going into like two big games against Swansea and Liverpool. So I'd say confidence should be there. Like confidence should be there heading into them two games. You sound
Confidence should be there,
yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I still need to see a little bit more of what we saw today to have belief that could be a good season.
Yeah,
Because I just still look at our lineup and I just see people in the wrong place, the wrong players there, maybe players that aren't good enough. I mean, I don't know how Ben Davies has got himself a left back spot ahead of Danny Rose. I'm not going to say Danny Rose is way better than Ben Davies, but
he was putting in some beautiful balls today though. That Davis. I'm not. I don't really know too much about him. I just know that he has a decent cross from what I saw today. I think
it's not bad. But
was it. I
I
think
mean,
it
look,
was.
to be honest, there isn't a large difference between the two of them. I'd personally, forward and back, I'd rather have Rose there.
So is that a regular thing that he starts ahead of Rose nowadays?
As of this last season, it wasn't, but this
But this
season it
season,
seems to be that way. Yeah.
so Rose will probably play in Monaco in the week.
Um,
Rose and Trippier will probably come back in.
I mean, to be honest, I really do want us to take the Europa League a little bit more seriously, especially given our group, which I think is harder than it has been in recent years. And I'd love us to just, just get the first 3 wins if you can, get to 10 points, and then start resting players because, you know what I mean? It's like it's the start of the season. No one's tired. Yeah. These guys have played like 6, 7 games. No one's tired.
Definitely.
So I would play, especially because it's Monaco as well. Like Monaco, they deserve respect. We should play our strongest team. Maybe make 1 or 2 changes, but I mean,
Also,
if I see Michel Vorm in goal, I
it's all
want to
about
see him stay.
momentum. Yeah, and there's no reason to bring in another keeper. That's another thing.
That's another thing I always think is just to keep guys happy. But honestly, Monaco Thursday, I'd love to see us play our strongest team.
Keep guys happy. Vorm knew what situation he was getting into when he went there. Do you know what I mean? You're going.
It's true.
A lot of people rate Lloris as one of the best keepers in the world. So Vorm knew what he was going to do. So I don't.
He knew.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think sometimes teams rotate a bit too much these days,
Mm.
and I don't think Europa League to be messed around. I'm tired of us messing around with it, getting knocked out in run 32-16, couple
And
quarterfinals.
there's obviously a Champions League. There's a Champions League reward at the end for the winner now, which is
Exactly. That's
yeah.
the incentive, and I honestly believe that that is our best chance of getting in Champions League this season by winning Europa League. I've done a little blog on a preview of Europa League last week, and I assessed like the top teams in the competition, and there's some good teams like
Mm.
Napoli, Villarreal.
Dortmund,
There's yeah, exactly Dortmund as well,
Liverpool,
but
Liverpool.
Liverpool, if they take it seriously as well, should be there or thereabouts. Um, but I feel like we would be able to compete. I don't see why we shouldn't believe that we could get to a quarter or a semi, and luck of the draw, you never know where you go.
Well, it was a good result for you guys today, and it's obviously given Spurs fans a little bit of hope. But you never know with Spurs. You never know with Spurs at all with the form. But
It's
Andrew,
true.
Andrew, it's good to talk to you, man. Good to
Right, it's been
talk to
great.
you.